Good afternoon and good evening, fellow televiewers who are watching me on the Ambazonian Communication Network, the ACN television. You are all welcome to this presentation. My name is Capo. I am the spokesperson of Ambazonian Liberation War and the Ambazonian Governing Council. You are all welcome to this episode of Ambazonian Liberation Update. Many people across the globe are wondering what is going on in the Cameroons with the war that takes place in the English-speaking part of that country, as they say. Cameroon, as you know, is made up of two countries, two separate territories, the former British Southern Cameroons and the former French Cameroons. The people of the former British Southern Cameroons, the English Cameroon, as they want to call it, or the English regions of Cameroon, are the people who constitute Ambazonia, a separate territory that have existed on its own and was part of Nigeria. That was part of what used to be the eastern states of Nigeria. The former British Southern Cameroons, Ambazonia, is fighting for its survival and is fighting for her independence to become the first new country in Africa. This is inevitable and this is the future of Africa. You are all welcome to this particular episode where I am going to take you into an in-depth brief presentation of what is going on for the war for Ambazonian independence. Ladies and gentlemen, the people of Ambazonia have suffered more than any other people across the territory of Africa from colonization, forced labor during the period of the Germans, and in modern days, our people are going through a barbaric war of subjugation that has come about as a resistance to Cameroon rule of Ambazonian territory. Even though people may perceive Cameroon as being one country, Cameroon is indeed a country that have occupied and colonized the English-speaking part, which is called Ambazonia today. That part of Cameroon have been subjected to systemic discrimination, human rights violation, and recently Cameroon is waging a genocide war against fellow black people in Ambazonia. I'm going to give you a presentation to understand and have a comprehensive knowledge of what is happening in my country, Ambazonia. Within the past 60 years, our administrative organizations, our constitutions, our legislature, our military have all been dismantled by the state of Cameroon. The people of Ambazonia have suffered discrimination in the hands of fellow black people. I remember in days of my youth, when I used to travel into the French-speaking part of Cameroon, into the capital, Yaoundé, how we would be made ridicule simply by speaking in our language, English for that matter, a language which is seen as an international language in the entire world today. It has been terrible for our people. Fellow Africans who are watching me over this television, there are very little word I can explain to you being treated not just as a minority, but as people who do not belong. The picture I'm about to show you is one of those pictures that capture the treatment of Ambazonia in Cameroon. On this picture, you can see a défilé, what they call in French Cameroon a défilé. This was organized in early 2016 in Cameroon. You could see that the area that is circled in red, that is the part of the so-called English-speaking Cameroon. That is a part of sovereign Ambazonian territory. The Cameroon government have been provoking the people of Ambazonia for so long, calling us names, 2 cubes of sugar, and so on and so forth. Our people have practically eaten death from their neighbor, their black brothers from French Cameroon for so long that we could not take it anymore. In the early 2016, our people rose up to resist and to reject the assimilation of our people by the French Cameroon speaking part of the country and the state of Cameroon. I'm going to show you a video footages that was presented by CCTV, a foreign media, about the protests of our people against Cameroon rule, against Cameroon discrimination.
Tensions have been running high in Bamende over the past few days. Barricades are still up in various parts of the town. Police and military officials are patrolling the streets, looking for anyone involved in the protests. The government says military reinforcements are helping authorities return the situation to normal, but protesters say they will not stop demonstrating until the French language is no longer imposed on them.
What we want is for France to back off. They should leave our own system. We have a proper means to organize our educational system. We have proper means of our health system. It's a time of freedom. They colonized us, and now is the time. We were mental slaves, but now is the time we are spiritually positive. And the fight is bigger than they can think.
French is spoken in 8 of Cameroon's 10 regions, while English dominates in the northwest and southwest. Demonstrators want these two regions to be independent. Jean Keo, CCTV.
So, fellow televiewers, you can listen carefully to the narrative of the CCTV journalists. The people of Ambazonia were protesting against the imposition of French language and the imposition of foreign rules, foreign institutions by the French Cameroon over Ambazonia. Our people were protesting for something that would seem to be normal in the eyes of anybody in the world. Our court system was being dismantled, our common law system was being undermined and being systematically being replaced by the French Cameroon civil law. Our people have been stripped of all their property through systemic empowering of Bamileke people or French Cameroon citizens within our territory. In the amount of people that leave that country to abroad, 90% of them were from our territory because they had no opportunity, no job opportunity. The Cameroon state have dismantled our police force, our banking system, our education system, leaving our people barely to survive. Poverty afflicts one of the most richest territory across Africa, the territory of Ambas Bay, where we have huge deposit of petroleum, natural resources, and horticulture in the CDC plantation. A people so naturally endowed and so rich become so poor, man-made poverty as a result of recolonization. And like our people said, the man on the street, they know exactly what the problem was. Listen again.
We should leave our own system. We have a proper means to organize our educational system. We have proper means of our health system. It's a time of freedom. They colonized us, and now is the time. We were mental slaves, but now is the time.
So the man on the street knows what the problem was. A problem of recolonization. A foreign country, Cameroon, despite our will to unite with them in the spirit of Pan-Africanism, like one people, black people coming together as one, irrespective of the fact that we did not want to become part of Cameroon. We wanted to become an independent country like the international law provides through the Trusteeship Council. Yet the French tricked us, lure us, and the British connived with them to force us against our will to unite with Cameroon. The Cameroon government reject unity, and in the United Nations General Assembly, where a vote was taken for Ambazonia to unite with Cameroon, the Cameroon state rejected that vote and went into a union with our country as a pretext to recolonize our territory and put our people in the place where we found ourselves over 60 years now, suffering, complaining, agitating. And as we protest, as the people rose up in 2016 to protest against Cameroon domination, against Cameroon imposition of itself and assimilation of our people, the Cameroon responded with violence. Our people protested with peace plans, and I want to refresh the mind of our people so that they know exactly how we have arrived where we are today. So in Bamenda, the people protested, carrying peace plans.
No violence! No violence! No violence! No violence!
In their number across Ambazonian territory, our people carried peace plans. The boy you see kneeling down in front of this crowd have become the face of the resistance. That is General Agaba of the ADF, leading the protest with peace plan. Our people wanted no war. They wanted no confrontation with the Cameroon military. So you can see from the placards, the people are asking for one thing. Asking for one thing: freedom. Freedom to govern themselves. Freedom to manage their resources. Because for decades and decades, they have been stripped bare. They have become destitute in their own land. They cannot even speak their own language. All job opportunities are occupied by Francophones, even in our land. We have come from a self-governing country into a recolonized country where we have no voice. Worse of that, our nationality was banned and criminalized. For you to assert your nationality, you are being termed a terrorist by Mr. Paul Biya Bivondo. Our people resisted and they made rally calling for self-determination, asking for our people to be free. This is the right that are enjoyed by all people across the world. The British people have organized referendum. The Scottish people have organized referendum. This is our people. 1 year after they started this protest demanding for their right of self-determination, carrying peace plans, demanding for one thing: separation from Cameroon. Separation is our right. It is a legitimate right under international law. Laws that Cameroon are party to through treaties that have been ratified in the Constitution of Cameroon that acknowledge the rights and human rights of our people. These rights have been acknowledged by international law and international court, even in the Gambia. Let my people go. Let my people go. The people across Ambazonia, from Fako, Lebialem, Ngokitunja, Meme, all of them demanding one thing: Paul Biya, the president of the state of Cameroon, let my people go. We don't want Cameroon anymore. We want absolute independence. We want separation from Cameroon. With the people marching with peace plan, Paul Biya decided to react with brutality, going from school to school, burning down villages, acting in violence. I want to show some of the videos for our people to refresh their mind of the reaction of the Cameroon military. So, sorry, I think that video is not readily available, but I'm going to show the protest of our people across our territory demanding for their right.
We can never be intimidated by the police.
This is in Bamenda, the most populated city in Ambazonia. People from all walks of life, black men, Muslim, Christians, everybody. So you can hear one of the speakers said that thing will not go make for Boya. So talking about the Cameroon brutality against the students in the University of Boya. He's telling the people the freedom will come now, the independence will come now, because this experiment have not helped us. Staying with Cameroon have not helped us in any shape or form.
That independent that today will start. That independent that today will start. Yes. That independent that today.
Our people who have known nothing but peace, gentleness, self-control, cleanliness, have seen everything ruled back by the Cameroon state. We have seen corruption, we have seen embezzlement, we have seen nepotism, we have seen discrimination. Our people had enough, and they said enough is enough. To this protest, this peace protest, the Cameroon military and the president of Cameroon did not mix their word. They went straight into action, brutal action, to kill our people and maim our people. Let me bring you video footages of how Cameroon responded. They responded by using helicopter gunship, burning Ambazonian villages, driving our people, sending away our people into Nigeria for refugees. More than 2 million Ambazonians have run away from our territory into Nigeria as refugees, following Cameroon's brutal burning of our villages, fighting against people holding peace plan. People who are simply demanding for something which is under recognition by the Constitution of Cameroon, something reasonably. But the Cameroon decided to react by burning villages. This is in Bamenda. You can see early on 2017.
Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Where, oh Father, like seriously?
You can hear the shock of our citizens.
And the ever year, blood of Jesus.
You can hear the commentator saying, seriously, we have always heard about this, but in these days of modern technology, where video cameras are everywhere, we could see. This is BBC reporting.
They want to kill we. They want to kill we.
This is the village of Kukembomo in Cameroon being burnt to the ground. For months now, images like these have been pouring out of Cameroon on social media.
So, those are the brutality and the reaction of Paul Biya. Brutally killing our people, burning down villages, and it goes on and on. The video goes on and on. There are just so many that I can show you from the early 2016. The Cameroon military even went into schools. These are video footages in Bali. Remove students.
Je vais vous traiter après cela. Je serai ici là. Tout à l'heure, very soon. Tout le monde va dormir. Everybody will sleep like those guys very soon. Look at this phone. Regardez le téléphone, c'est là. Je dis de regarder le téléphone, c'est là. Regardez le téléphone, c'est là.
So what the Cameroon military commander was doing to these students, he was showing them a video on his mobile phone of innocent civilians that have been killed by the Cameroon military, showing this video to young students in a school in Bali, telling them that all of them will die like this person. These students are just in boarding school, away from their homes, away from their place of safety, from their parents, in a boarding school thinking they will be safe. A Cameroon military, a specialized force, launched an attack against this school with innocent civilians, threatening them, terrorizing them, beating them, some of them raped. Look at the video.
Regardez le téléphone. Regardez le téléphone, c'est là. Tout le monde, regardez le téléphone. Oh, regardez le téléphone, c'est là. Tout le monde doit dormir tout à l'heure, comme les hommes là. Tout le monde doit dormir.
Cameroon military promising to kill everybody, kill every civilian. Paul Biya, because of what? The people asked that they want separation. Peacefully. You could hear them saying no violence, no violence. They want simple separation. It is their right. The president of Cameroon did not even give them a chance to debate. And when the people start to fight back against this terrorism, the president of Cameroon, he came out and declared war on our people. In case you have forgotten, this is the declaration of war by President Paul Biya of Cameroon.
I followed with deep emotions the assassination of 4 soldiers and 2 police officers in the southwest of our country. Following the disappearance of these 6 military officials, I would like to present my condolences to the bereaved families as well.
So after Cameroon government using helicopter gunship, killing over 200 people on one single day in Ambazonia, killing several civilians, burning down villages, the president of Cameroon was okay with his actions and the actions of his forces until the Ambazonians decided to retaliate and fight back, and 6 of their troops were killed. Then Paul Biya reacted, sending sympathy not to the innocent civilians that were slaughtered as reported even by international media, but to his forces who were doing the killing, because that is what he wants them to do. This is a reflection of what Paul Biya's conduct is. What Paul Biya is all about, to kill innocent people. And this is what he has to say.
As to our defense forces, I think that things are becoming clearer to everyone. In the face of such repeated aggression, I would like to assure Cameroonians that measures have been taken to eliminate these criminals and bring back peace throughout the national territory.
Sécurité soit sauvegardée sur toute l'étendue du territoire national de Bourg-Massy.
So Mr. Paul Biya came out and declared everybody who was demanding separation, those who were fighting in self-defense against the killings and murder of his own military, he promised to kill all of them and return back to peace. What he's called peace is what he's calling marginalization, assimilation, rejection of Ambazonian nationality. A people who came into this union out of their own right of self-determination, in their own choice. You decide to crush them, declaring their life meaningless by ignoring their death and honoring the terrorist forces you send in their territory to kill them. And in prosecuting that war that he calls war against Ambazonia, no other than civilians were targeted. These are testimony of Justice Ayapo, a former Supreme Court judge in Cameroon, testifying of the conduct of the Cameroon military.
Barrister Ayapo Labine, you're seeing that the military has been committing atrocities, killing people in the two and the front regions of the country. But we've listened on several occasions, the Cameroonian authorities, including the Minister of Territorial Administration, the Minister of Communication and others, saying and emphasizing that the military is not in those two regions to kill, but to protect the territorial integrity of Cameroon, to protect properties and persons, and so on, and rejecting those accusations. What are the proofs that you have at your disposal to back up what you're saying, the accusations against the military?
I have told you that we of the Aya Foundation are on the field. Would you tell me that people dressed in military uniform, whose tappers escorting somebody wounded to the hospital and extract that person from the ambulance and kill, need any more proof? Do we need any more proof? Would you say, for instance, that my driver since 1998 was in the hospital at Bingo Annex Mutengene, and the next person to his bed, I went there, not that somebody recounted to me, somebody next to his bed was removed by the military and killed at Likomba. What other proof do we need? Those are facts. Only yesterday, the military broke into a house in Biame and killed a whole family. Before then, they broke into a house at Widikum and killed a teacher with all the 7 members of the family, including his wife. The Amber Boys, I'm not defending them. The Amber Boys control large areas in what used to be known as Southern Cameroons or West Cameroon. They don't do those things to the people. It is the military who are belligerent, who come and commit those atrocities. I am saying it, and I'm prepared to appear before any authority in the world, including Mr. Paul Biya, and tell him that this is what I know and this is what I have seen.
This is what I know and this is what I have seen. Testimony of Justice Ayapo, a humanitarian and a philanthropist who is credible and have nothing to lie, nothing to fear, telling the truth. The Cameroon military have massacred more than 30,000 innocent civilians in Ambazonia, killing as old as 3-month-old baby Martha, murdering them, pastors, students, nurses, doctors, every walks of life, on the streets, in churches, burning villages, Fawn's palace, destroying all of them, trying to kill the aspiration and demand of the people of Ambazonia, who wants self-determination. After failing militarily, they embark on buying and corruption to get our own to commit the same atrocity the Cameroon military have been doing. As you hear, we have been controlling huge part of our territories and the people have been living in peace. There is testimony of former Kadinatumi who have laid bare the problem our people were facing. This is not a mystery.
There's a problem.
No, the form of the state.
The form of the state. You know, in our questionnaire to Anglophones, we try to influence the Anglophone opinion, but we did not succeed. Therefore, it shows how deep the problem is.
When you say you tried to influence,
we tried to influence.
How?
Good question. When we said, what form of government do you think can solve this problem? Federation, for example. Decentralization, as we are trying to live it now. I think just about 4 or 5 people reacted out of 1,000. 69% of Anglophones said absolute, the word they used, many used was absolute separation. That is to say, cessation. What? Who was taken aback?
Cessation.
About 1,000 people. With separation.
So this is Kadinatumi testifying, telling the facts based on data. He says, what can solve this problem? And he said they went on a questionnaire. They asked people the question, Ambazonians, what will solve this problem? They suggest federalism, decentralization, autonomy. All those questions were asked. Out of 1,000 people questioned, only 4 responded to those propositions. More than 69%, according to him, went out of the questionnaire to say that only separation, independence. Anybody who comes in the name of a pastor like Valerie Carr, the priest, to tell our people that they want to do peace without negotiation to resolve this problem. Anybody who comes in the name of Dangote or claiming to try to resolve this problem by decentralization, by federalism, including French francophones, including Frank Biya and Ngo and whoever they call their name. The data is clear. There is only one solution that can stop the resistance. It's independence. It's absolute separation. And that is what the people have demanded. You have watched the people on the street. The people in Ambazonia have demanded for one thing. And the Cameroon state, through manipulation, bribery, for 5 years, have tried to kill that narrative, that demand. It cannot work. It will not work. They have demanded for one thing and one thing alone, independence. And our people cried when they were killed because they are Ambazonians, when they were killed for standing up to their nationality and raising up their flag and singing their national anthem. We have seen a pastor in Maoto butchered alive for saying he's an Ambazonian. They killed them, and our people cried for justice. Our people cried, and this video shows you exactly the spirit of our people who cried on the ground for justice after their family members were slaughtered by the Cameroon occupation forces. Innocent people.
Don't leave.
Innocent people protesting with peace plan, demanding something that is in the Cameroon constitution, something that is in international law, something that have precedent in judicial judgment. People asking for the right of self-determination. A Cameroon government decides Paul Biya and his cabal, they decide to go on killing spree, to kill people, burn down houses, criminalize their opinion, put their people in jail. These are our citizens in Kondengi. More than 4,000 still in prison. More than 2 million out of the country as refugees. They went out to kill our people Monday.
Plenty. 3 days plenty. They will die. They shall not live.
So our people, determination to fight back in self-defense, to inflict pain.
We are crying. This is a blood. This is a blood of our brother, our mother. This is a blood here.
Because this is a TV program and we don't want to show the blood, the dead body of their grandmother is in the house. She could not run away when the Cameroon military invaded that area. They came in and they slaughtered her. Just like they have slaughtered more than 30,000 across our territory. Grabbed the elderly ones, the ones they could not kill, locked them up in the dungeon in La République du Cameroon, including Mancho BBC, Pen Terence, many of them, lawyers, kidnapped them, put them in prisons, in solitary confinement forever, locked them and throw the key, and charged them in French. These are video footages of Ambazonians in Cameroon Kondengi. People who cannot even speak English, being charged in French. You can hear. I don't know if you can hear, the volume is low. These are their charges, all in French. Putting them through French tribunal, military tribunal, where the judge speaks pure French. The lawyer, the documents are all written in French, no translation at all. These people taken away from their villages in Ambazonia, across the Mongo into French Cameroon, where they don't have any relatives to visit them or to feed them, and sentence them to death in French. This is colonialism. This is the special status. This is status quo. This is 2022. I'm talking about the Cameroon doing this to our people. And the Ambazonians who have fled before them in the diaspora, they mobilize themselves in the diaspora and say, no, enough is enough.
Until we reach Boya, we will never leave our journey highway. Oh, until we reach Boya, we will never leave our journey highway.
Hand in hand, all Ambazonians came together in the diaspora, holding their hands and say, we shall not stop. Enough is enough. We want our freedom, we want our country, and we will fight for the aspiration of our people that have been expressed. Aspiration for independence and separation from Cameroon. In the numbers across the world, Ambazonians mobilize themselves to fight for their people. Despite what the Cameroon government would like to tell you, to let the world know that these are people fighting for A, for B, this is a group of people doing kidnapping for ransom, make no mistake. 91% of our people want separation and independence. They have expressed it. They have protested. Cameroon cannot intimidate them with guns. It did not work. And our leaders in the diaspora, they gathered themselves, the Race Fund, and Dr. Cho Lucas Ayaba, our wartime leader, came into Ground Zero and announced to our people and launched self-defense in response to Cameroon brutality, in response to Cameroon terrorism, to give our people a chance to defend themselves and the territorial integrity of Ambazonia, the sovereignty of the former British Southern Cameroon. And in Ambazonia territory, in Dadi, Dr. Cho Lucas Ayaba, in 2018, the leader of Ambazonia Governing Council, he put in place measures for our state to be reconstituted, to take over our territory, our sovereignty, our territorial integrity.
Hail, hail, hail the God of glory, we the Ambazonia, pledge our loyalty. Praise the Son and Savior who granted us our freedom.
Amazonian youth, from block by block, neighborhood by neighborhood, rose up to pick up arms to defend themselves against Cameroon brutality. The ADF, the Ambazonia Defense Forces, the Ambazonia Governing Councils did not just give guns to the hands of our people to terrorize each other, to do kidnapping for ransom, but we provided training for them to be disciplined, to be defenders of their homeland, defenders of their mothers and their sisters who are being attacked constantly by the Cameroon military. They were provided with a command and control system, with a code of conduct to fight and liberate their homeland and free their homeland, Ambazonia, from Cameroon occupation and Cameroon terrorism. Self-defense for self-determination. Self-defense for self-preservation. Since then, Mr. Paul Biya, having promised to crush Ambazonians, to crush our will, so that he will subjugate us, having failed for the past years, Paul Biya Bivondo, he came back. And this is a speech, another speech. Forgive me for my part. Forgive me for not transferring this video on time. Let me do it just now. Okay. 5 years after trying to destroy Ambazonia aspiration, let me see if the video has been transferred. Pardon me for that. Pardon me for the technical difficulties. Since the video is not coming up, I'm going to continue the show. Okay. The video has failed to be transferred. I'll try once more. And if it doesn't go, okay. Oh, yep, there it is. Let me see. It says waiting, waiting, waiting. So I'll assume we have a technical fault. Oh, there it is now. The video is being transferred. Let's see. I will assume that the video will not be transferred. But there are other subsequent videos of Mr. Paul Biya addressing the country, withdrawing back his statement of crushing the Ambazonian forces, and for after 5 years of battling with Ambazonian forces, The video is downloading now. So I think we are pleased. We are going to take you there. Okay. So 4 years after 2 years of promise to destroy Ambazonia, Mr. Paul Biya Bivondo,
Fellow Cameroonians, my dear compatriots, I wish to pay them a well-deserved tribute for their courage, commitment, and professionalism. I take this opportunity to commend the full mobilization.
So this is Paul Biya. After 3 years of prosecuting a subjugation war, of burning down villages, killing innocent civilians, raping women, coming to you to tell you that he's congratulating the Cameroon military for their professionalism. He's a commander-in-chief. This is to show you that the conduct of the Cameroon military is not a matter of some rogue soldiers, but it's a matter of policy, right from the top, from Paul Biya himself. Listen.
And vigilant communities that are contributing decisively to the success of our popular defense strategy.
So Paul Biya is talking about the so-called vigilante groups. The vigilante groups, the one we know in Wa, which was set up by his ally on the ground, Paul Gerard, went into Ngarbu, attacked innocent Ambazonians, killing over 18 children, all below 18 years old, 8 months old baby up to 16 years old girl, slaughtering all of them, and came out to lie to the Ambazonian people and the world that those actions were committed as a result of crossfire between Cameroon forces and Ambazonian fighters, whereas they were slaughtered by a vigilante group backed by the Cameroon military for no other reason but they were just civilians, Ambazonian, who were going about their day-to-day business. These are the people Cameroon Paul Biya is congratulating in this his message. Listen.
To note that a large number of our compatriots who have joined armed groups have accepted my peace overture.
So, Paul Biya was claiming that after these 3 years, after failing to make good of his promise, remember in declaring this war, he promised, thinking within 2 weeks, he will kill all Ambazonia fighters. After 3 years on, this is Paul Biya now claiming that some of the fighters are now in DDR center. The fighter he means people like Nambere and Success Nkongo that are con men who were just taking advantage of this struggle. Paul Biya bribed them to display that some soldiers have dropped down their weapons, but we know that it is all lies. It is a failed policy of Paul Biya, failed military strategy to win Ambazonia within few weeks. 3 years on, talking about this the DDR center.
Many have laid down their arms and are being catered for in disarmament, demobilization, and the reintegration centers holds true in the northwest and southwest regions, where many members of armed groups continue to surrender.
So why Paul Biya in his own head, in his delusion, thinks that Ambazonian forces are surrendering? Ambazonian power have increased. We have developed new technology, from rubber gun to den guns to AK-47 and now IED attacks. From IED attacks using cables now to remote control IED attacks. We are getting better. We are becoming more organized. More and more new groups are coming up to join the fight. Cameroon have abandoned many of its posts 3 years ago to Ambazonia control. We now control more territory than we ever did at any time in this war. Paul Biya is losing, and is losing fatly.
However, Many of our compatriots remain within the ranks of armed groups. They continue to engage in criminal activities, increasing attacks with improvised explosive devices and murders of unarmed civilians. The recent assassination of 3 students and a teacher of bilingual high school Ekondo Titi added to their long list of abuses and atrocities.
While it is true that there were some atrocities committed in Ambazonia, they were all committed by the people in Ambazonia that Paul Biya claimed in his end-of-year speech in 2019 that he have an understanding to negotiate and dialogue with them. Some were Capo, the ones he is engaged with in Swiss. They paid soldiers to carry out false flag attack in order to sabotage Ambazonia and create a reality that Paul Biya wants to paint. As you have seen from the video footages, this is a struggle driven by the grassroots, demand on the street for independence, for separation, demanded by peace-loving Ambazonians who carried peace plans, demonstrated in data, carried out by Christian Kadinatumi, where he has proven that there is no solution to this war other than separation for Ambazonia, which is our right under international law. Because we are a separate people, a sovereign people that is entitled to our right of self-determination. Paul Biya has failed. Even the atrocity he wants to paint Ambazonia as committing atrocity, those atrocities are committed by his own partners, who are not representative of the conduct of our forces, who are well-trained, who are disciplined, and are representing the interests of their people. No Ambazonian forces in liberated area have ever committed any atrocity against our own people. Even the atrocity committed within Ambazonia are being done in accomplice with Paul Biya to help sabotage the aspiration of our people. And it will not work. Our people are resolute for what they want, independence. Let's listen.
I would like once again to reiterate government's firm determination to restore peace in the regions that are under security threats. It should be clearly understood that wherever...
So he wants to restore peace. The peace that used to exist in Ambazonia under the British and under Nigeria was total peace, under self-determination. We were doing fine. The only thing that has disturbed our peace is the destitution, poverty, and corruption that have been brought to our territory by Cameroon control, the brutality of their military, and their poor governance structure, their colonization and assimilation. That is what disturbed the peace in Ambazonia. What disturbed the peace in Ambazonia is the imposition of French, is the control of Cameroon over our territory. The problem in Ambazonia is Cameroon occupation. The solution is one and only: separation and independence. That is the only solution for Ambazonia.
The perpetrators and sponsors of such acts are hiding. They will be relentlessly tracked down and will face the full force of the law.
So the people that are committing the atrocity, the Cameroon military, are walking free. The few times they have been forced to take responsibility in Garbu, the soldiers are walking free. Recently, they admitted killing 9 of our innocent civilians. There have been no trial in Bamenda Tribunal. They are walking free. Over 30,000 slaughtered. Cover-up attempts by Paul Biya administration. The blood is in his hands and in his mouth like a vampire. He's a killer and butcher of our people. In pretense, with corruption, he has tried to change the narrative, to blame Ambazonia for what he is guilty of. It will not work, because our cause is just and our people are resilient and resolute to obtain their freedom.
This fight against barbarism, I urge the Cameroonian people to step up collaboration with defense and security forces in order to neutralize the fanatics of armed violence and to preserve the integrity of our territory.
So what Paul Biya is calling for collaboration with the population and his military is no longer there. Even in his own country, he is not seen as a legitimate leader. We have seen Ambazonian forces that crossed into La République du Cameroon and successfully neutralized his forces. And their own population did not support their military. Their own colonial SDO, their DO, came out there to campaign and tell the people they are letting down the military. So Paul Biya is out of touch, out of reality. He is not wanted by his own people. He was not elected by his people. He is a puppet that does not represent his people. The barbarism we have seen of his soldier killing and tying the dead body of people on the streets of Ambazonia can tell you the blood that is in his eyes. That is the true face of Paul Biya, the killer of people, the one who would destroy even the dead body of soldiers, the one who have brought death, misery, darkness upon our cities.
Many of our compatriots have fallen in battle while engaged in this lofty civil and military defense. May our determination to keep up the fight bring solace to them, as their sacrifice for the Republic will not be in vain. They are role models.
So all those terrorist Cameroon military that have been killing our people, behaving, even the Cameroon commentators, calling them terrorists, all of them, that is the people Paul Biya choose to honor. We all know Cameroon military. They are known on the streets as killers, as terror, people who constantly harass our people. These are people Paul Biya are calling role model. What a joke. And it tells us who he is. If his role model are the Cameroon bees, the gendarmes, the torturers, the butchers of children and innocent civilians, the people who burned down Kwakwa, who burned down entire neighborhood in Bamenda, Bangui Road, then it tells all about who this man is.
For our youth, whom I urge to shun indoctrination attempts by secessionist groups. In this fight against terrorism, we plan to enlist the support of a wide range of partner states by debunking falsehoods about our country's human rights situation.
So Paul Biya says that they will fight Ambazonia by debunking what we present to the world as the track record of Cameroon. A report that is not just presented by us, but independent investigative journalists and human rights defenders, such as Human Rights Watch, have called out Cameroon for using terrorism, collective punishment, targeted killing, arbitrary killing against innocent civilians. The American government, the American embassy, have told Paul Biya to his face that he is committing war crimes, doing targeted killing, arbitrary killing of our people. The courts in Nigeria have condemned Cameroon for kidnapping Seseko Ayoktabi and a group of Ambazonian activists who were protected under refugee law in Nigeria back to La République du Cameroon. The American government have put Cameroon under its sanction list, cut off Cameroon from AGOA, a prestigious treaty for trade with African countries. The Germans have stopped collaborating with the Cameroon government to fight even against Boko Haram, a good fight, because of Cameroon's illegal use of weapons, Cameroon's use of terrorism to fight Ambazonia. The German parliament have debated about Ambazonian case, calling out Paul Biya for his brutality and telling Paul Biya to negotiate. The American senators and legislatures have done the same, calling out Paul Biya. The British government have done the same. Everybody. But Paul Biya is delusional. Somehow he thinks he can debunk the truth by creating his own reality on the ground using corruption. It will not work.
Propagated within international circles by some of Cameroon's detractors. Dear compatriots, true to our commitment to peace and tolerance. We have continued to demonstrate openness and readiness for dialogue in order to call a halt to this crisis that has reached far too much.
So even though he comes out and pretend that they are open to dialogue and negotiation after saying he will kill everybody, remember he declared war and said he will kill everybody. He has failed. The economy of Cameroon is in shambles. Their economic prospect is dire. They are running out of food. The country will collapse just like Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka mortgaged their country to win the war against the Tema tiger. Today the country have collapsed. They cannot pay their debt. The president have run away. Pobia have sold Cameroon. Ambazonia is still standing on its foot and fighting strong. Today, after promising he will kill all Ambazonian soldiers and get their leaders arrested in the diaspora, he has failed. And now he says he was open to dialogue. This was 2 years ago. Since that 2 years, he has refused to negotiate through the United Nations or representative of the Secretary General, Francois Fort, who have been negotiating between Ambazonia Governing Council to represent Ambazonia's interests and Pobia. Pobia refused to dialogue and negotiate. Even in Switzerland, where he has his partner there, Sako, who have accepted to negotiate with him, he has refused to commit. These are not people who want peace, who want justice. These are people who want to continue to treat us like a colony, like they have been doing before. Remember this image. To treat us as a people who don't deserve their identity. Look at the people in the prison. Thousands of our comrades from the former British Southern Cameroon are languishing in jail in La République du Cameroon with no justice for them, being treated as colonies, colonized people, judged in French. Now as we speak, still being judged and tried in French, given notice in French, to show us that they want nothing good for us. But our people have risen up. More and more self-defense groups have come out, and Cameroon have been losing territory. Remember the victory of No Pity, one of Ambazonian valiant soldier who just last week walked into a Cameroon military barracks and brought out the commander there.
Before when the car we don't bring a cover, now they cover this we don't bring a cover because we don't say as we can we kill them. Shake no day. Shake no day.
So where is the Cameroon military? They have been defeated. All the hope of Pobia have been shattered. The bees, you can see this one because of censorship. We have closed the body. But that is the body of the Cameroon commander. They just go, they go cut them. They can go back. They just go and harvest it. More and more every day. This is a new brigade that was set up by the Ambazonia Defense Forces.
Because they will not say commander will come back for down.
This is a new force that was created, the ADF Presidential Commando.
The first work of the Special Commando. Yes, you can see that is the harvesting of a Special Commando. Yes, you can see
this one with sensor.
The Nyeman, the Special Commando. That is the head of the Nyeman with the material.
So you can see the military fatigue of the Cameroon military.
Within the 25th of January.
All of them being neutralized every day by day. The Cameroon military is fallen, and Ambazonian independence is inevitable. We are taking back our territories. Our people are constituting themselves, organizing themselves as a state. You can look in the Atlantics, in the Savannah states. These are pictures from liberated areas where our people can freely express themselves, celebrating with our national colors, taking over our territory.
We are rising to fall no more, Amba. We are rising to fall no more.
to follow.
So all across our territories, our mothers, our children, they have picked up their identity, they have liberated their areas, they are now instituting a transitional authority on the ground, taking over Ambazonia. So ladies and gentlemen, Ambazonia liberation, Ambazonia war for decolonization is on the right track. We have made our territory ungovernable for Cameroon in response to their war. We have kicked out all its colonial administrators from over 80% of our territories. We have delegitimized their representation in our territory by stopping them from having and conducting election in Ambazonia territory. We are now in the process of liberating ourselves completely. We are instituting policies of banning of Cameroon symbol in addition to the pillars of our liberation war, which is deniance of political participation, rejection of Cameroon institutions, in particularly school, economic sabotage, the ban of brasseries drinks, and as well as the refusal of paying tax. We are now taking over our territory to set up ourselves for international recognition for our eventuality, the protection and exercise of our sovereign power. Our people in all Ambazonian liberated areas are free. They are building economy of their own, reconnecting their own, and will continue to appeal to our international partners to not just stop at sanctioning Cameroon government and calling them to come to the negotiation table, but to realize and recognize the reality of Ambazonia's self-determination and the aspiration of our people. We cannot allow Pobia to use trickery, bribery, and corruption to undermine the will of over 8 million people that have been expressed. They want nothing other than separation. They want nothing other than full independence for them to be able to live free from Cameroon terrorism and occupation. We will continue as the Ambazonia Governing Council to work with all other movements to make sure that this independence that was attained in 1961 will be effectuated, will be actualized on the ground in Ambazonia. The takeover will continue until Ambazonia will have her place as the 55th state, free state in Africa, an independent country on its own, governed by its own people, being able to protect its own people and carry out economic activity to benefit the interests of our people. God bless you all.